Welcome to the virtual college exploration for all Indiana students, sponsored by the Indiana Association for College Admissions Counseling and StriveScan. Thank you for joining us. A few housekeeping announcements before we get started. One, you can use the Q&A button on your screen to type your questions to our presenters at any time. Your camera and microphone are off, so the panelists cannot see or hear you. This is just one of many sessions happening, so be sure to check out the full schedule at inacac.org. This presentation is being recorded and will be available within a week at the same website, inacac.org. Now, I'd like to turn it over to Emily and Megan from the University of Indianapolis.
Okay, give me just a moment and I will share my screen with all of you.
At any point, should you have questions throughout the presentation, please feel free to use the chat box, and I will be more than happy to address those questions as Emily is presenting, but we are excited that you're with us today.
Yes, thank you all for joining us. It's really great to be here with you on this rainy Monday evening. Like Megan said, if you have questions, drop them in the chat. Also want to draw your attention to the QR code at the top of your screen. I would suggest scanning that and it'll pull up a web page that will give you access to a form where you can sign up to get more information about University of Indianapolis. This QR code is going to come up a little bit later in the presentation, but if you want to scan that and fill it out while I'm talking, feel free to do so. But other than that, let's get started with a quick video. Okay. Try that again. Okay, like I said, good evening, everyone. My name is Emily Hancock. I am an admissions counselor here at University of Indianapolis. You can see my contact information on the screen there. So if you have any questions, either during or following up this presentation, please feel free to take a picture of that and reach out to me later to get those follow-up questions answered. My main goal is always making sure that you all feel like you've got all the information you need to take the next steps that you have to in order to get this college admissions process taken care of. A little bit about myself. I attended Warren Central High School on the east side of Indianapolis and graduated with an English writing degree from DePaul University, another small liberal arts school like University of Indianapolis. I really love UIndy for its small class sizes and also the really welcoming campus community. I felt just such kindness from everyone I've met there at UIndy, and I know that happens with the student population as well. I'm also a lifelong Indy resident. I love Indianapolis, and I love that UIndy students get to take advantage of all of the opportunities that we have there. Megan, would you like to introduce yourself quickly?
Absolutely. My name is Megan Gotzi. I am the Senior Assistant Director of Admissions at the university. Like Emily, I'm a lifelong East Sider at heart. I grew up on the east side of Indianapolis, also attended Warren Central High School, and am an alum from UIndy. I obtained my bachelor's degree in business along with my master's degree in strategic leadership a couple of years ago. I share the sentiments that Emily mentioned about the small class sizes, the welcoming community. That's really kind of what appealed to me as a prospective senior doing my college visits. The accessibility not only to downtown, but also to your faculty members was really critical for me. And that's really what ultimately sealed the deal. But we would love to have you all come out and visit campus at one point to really get a sense of what UIndy really has to offer and get that vibe and really experience that yourself. So again, thanks for joining us.
Absolutely. So a few fast facts about UIndy as we're getting started here. I'll just kind of list here with you. So we are the UIndy Greyhounds. You can see on the screen there our main man, Grady. He is a live mascot as of about a year ago, I think, on campus. I've met him a number of times, and he is a very good dog. UIndy is a private liberal arts university on the south side of downtown. Liberal arts just meaning you're going to be taking a number of classes outside of your major while still getting a lot of expertise for whatever major you choose to pursue. We were founded in 1902, so a little over 100 years old. We're on a 65-acre campus, which takes about 10 minutes to get from one end to the other. We have a total on-campus population of about 5,800 students. As you can see, 4,000 of those are our undergraduate students, and then we have about 1,800 graduate students as well, primarily in the health sciences, but also in a number of other programs, including the business school. We are an NCAA Division II sports university, which means that we are eligible to both recruit athletes and give scholarships, which are up to the coach's discretion. So if you have some athletic interests, UIndy is a great place for athletes as well. And we are about 10 minutes south of downtown Indianapolis, which you can access via public transit or having your car on campus, whichever you choose, to get access to those entertainment and internship opportunities as well. Tour of our campus. Something I think is really unique about UIndy is that we are very much an urban school. Like I said, we're only 10 minutes south of downtown, but I think when you're on campus, you feel a little bit more isolated, not like you're in the middle of the city, even though you have access to all those big city opportunities. It's kind of a best of both worlds, which is something I say a lot about UIndy. Okay, so digging into what UIndy is all about. Simply put, you are at the center of everything that happens at UIndy. This applies particularly to our academic philosophy. We really care about our students. We really care about making sure that you get the best academic experience possible. Some of that comes from having really hands-on curriculum. Some of that comes from having over 100 different majors to choose from on campus with lots of different concentrations as well. So lots of different things to explore and learn about. And I think that also applies to our liberal arts curriculum. You know, I think one of the big draws of the liberal arts is you get to specialize in something, but also learn about all kinds of different things. And at UIndy, you get to choose what all of those different things are going to be. I like to use philosophy as an example because you are required to take a philosophy class here at UIndy, but you get to choose what that is. So if you're going to be a health professions major or a business major or in the arts, you get to choose what branch of philosophy is going to best prepare you for the career that you want. So like I said, you are at the center of everything that happens at UIndy, and we want to make sure that the experiences you have are going to prepare you for what comes next. A few more fast facts about UIndy. Like I mentioned a moment ago, we have over 100 different undergraduate programs. Some of our most popular programs are definitely the health sciences. We really excel in physical therapy, occupational therapy, and nursing specifically. I also talk to a lot of students about the business school as well as our criminal justice program, which I think is something that's kind of unique to University of Indianapolis. We are a nationally ranked university, again, specifically in our health sciences program, so physical therapy, occupational therapy, and nursing, but we have lots of other really strong programs at UIndy as well. A 13-to-1 student faculty ratio essentially means that your class sizes are going to be about 17 students on average. Some of those classes may be a little bit larger, maybe up to 30. Some of them may be even smaller, depending on the major that you choose and how specialized those classes are going to get. But on average, you're going to have about 17 kids in a class, which again, I think is a kind of nice middle ground between not too big and not too small. We are a 2021 College of Distinction. We are about 10 minutes south of downtown, very easily accessible for all kinds of different opportunities. And we also have a number of study abroad opportunities I'm going to dig into a little bit more in a little bit. So something that I think is really strong at University of Indianapolis is our faculty. So I've met a number of professors on campus, and every professor I've met has been really dedicated to the academic experience. I spoke a moment ago about having really hands-on curriculum. We want to make sure that whatever you're learning at UIndy is going to prepare you really well for the professional path that you choose following university. Something else that's really cool about UIndy is you will have a professor who is your academic advisor. So someone from within your major who you're able to develop a close relationship with. They can help mentor you both academically in your time at UIndy and also to help you find professional opportunities and connections once you've left the university. We really care about building those strong relationships, not just with professors, but also with your fellow students and the staff members on campus, and the faculty at UIndy really showcase that very well. So I've mentioned a number of times here about how UIndy really cares about preparing you for the professional world that's going to come after graduation. And something that really does that well for us is the Professional Edge Center. We call it ProEdge for short. So essentially, we have an entire team of staff members dedicated to making sure that you're going to get a job when you graduate. You can see some fast facts and stats there at the bottom of the screen. We have over 100 different career readiness events throughout the year. I think I saw one this week for preparing your cover letter. Lots of different internships posted on our internship board in a number of different fields, as well as 1,700 jobs posted. Now that applies for both jobs that you can have on campus if you're interested in working while you're in school, or also jobs that you can have after graduation. So making sure that you're prepared to take those next professional steps. The other thing that I love about the ProEdge Center is they have a number of staff members dedicated to having those one-on-one appointments with students. So we have over 2,300 appointments every year of students coming in to work on their resumes or write their cover letters or prepare for different interviews for internships and jobs. And the team at ProEdge really makes sure that you're taken care of and that you're going to secure those next professional steps that are so very important. I said I was going to talk about study abroad, and I promised that I will. Here it is. So we have a lot of different ways to study abroad at UIndy, and this is one of my favorite parts of the university. So one way to study abroad at UIndy is kind of your typical study abroad experience. You go away for an entire semester to a country of your choice or a country that has a program that fits your major really well. And you get to take classes at a university, and those class credits will still apply towards your degree at University of Indianapolis. So you're learning things that will apply once you come back here as well, for both general education and potentially your major as well. And then when you come back to campus, you'll still be eligible for financial aid as well as campus housing available. And I've been told that it costs sometimes to go abroad as it does to spend a semester on campus. So it is an affordable option if that's something that you're interested in. Another way to study abroad at UIndy is called our spring term program. So if you're not interested in going abroad for an entire semester, if that feels like too long or maybe is a little overwhelming, then you can go on one of our spring term trips where maybe you're on campus for about a week or so with a professor and a small group of students, and then you go abroad for maybe 2 to 4 weeks to a country. You learn about a really specific experience, and then you come back to campus at the end with kind of a very condensed study abroad experience. I went on something like this in college. I absolutely loved it. I learned so much, got to go abroad, and still got to have my 8 semesters on campus that I thought were really important. You can see a small list of countries that we offer to study abroad in on the screen. There's also a number of other opportunities available. If you're interested in studying, UIndy is a great place to do that. So if you're not interested in living abroad, if you want to stay on campus all 8 semesters, we have a lot of really great options for housing. Specifically talking about where you live as a freshman, 4 different on-campus dorms available for freshmen. One of those is suite style living. So maybe you share a common room or the bathrooms with your roommates, and then you have some bedrooms off to the side. The other 3 are your typical dorm style where, you know, your room is in one place and your bathroom is a little bit down the hall. We have about 80% of our freshmen that live on campus at UND, but you are not required to live on campus at any point during your 4 years. So if you'd like to be a commuter student, you have that opportunity as well. We also have a number of on-campus housing options available for upperclassmen. You can see those at the bottom of the screen. A number of those are dorms, so if you want to continue living in the dorms, you've got some options there. We also have some on-campus apartments that are relatively newly built, and I think a really popular option with our upperclassmen. If you don't want to live in the dorms, but would like a little bit more independence, but don't want to have to commute from somewhere else, you can live on the campus apartments, and your commute is just across a parking lot. About 50% of our upperclassmen live on campus, so they take advantage of those wonderful options. I'd also like to mention that you are allowed to have a car on campus all 4 years during your time at UND, and that parking pass is free. You don't have to pay for it at any point. So if you're interested in commuting, then you've got some options there. If you're interested in living on campus, you've got a lot of options there as well. Last thing I'll mention on housing is that we do have a number of living and learning communities to students. So if you are an honors student, if you are a student, if you are an engineering student, or we have another option called Umoja, which is for students of color, then you have some options if you're interested in building a tight-knit community where you live as well. Another way to build community at UND is through our clubs and organizations. You can see on the screen that we have lots of them, over 70. There's just so many ways to get involved at UND. Some of them are academic organizations, so maybe specializing in something in your major and finding an organization that fits with that. Interests got really excited about Poco when I talked to them a few weeks ago, and we also have a show choir that is relatively new to campus that is also an exciting opportunity. If you know, Megan and I both were. We have some community service organizations. Community service is something that is very important to UND, and I will talk about a little bit more in a bit, as well as cultural organizations, honor societies, IM and recreational sports, and religious organizations. Just overall, a ton of different ways to find communities and get involved here at UND. I always say that the education you get at college is the most important part of going to college, but I often think that community that you find and the friends you make is the second most important thing that you're going to get out of university. You're going to find people who are like-minded with you, who have similar interests, and it really amplifies the college experience. So we are the University of Indianapolis, and we are very proud to be in the city of Indianapolis. You can see there on the side that we are the 17th largest city in the US and the 13th largest in the Midwest as well. A couple cool ways that we are connected to the city of Indianapolis. Number one, we have a ton of professional connections available to you. Indianapolis is very much a hub for lots of different industries, healthcare and business, as well as nonprofit, as well as the tech sector. They all have lots of really strong connections here in Indianapolis. And as a student, you'll get to take advantage of those connections as well. We're also connected to the Indigo Red Line directly from campus. So if you don't have a car, but want to head downtown for an internship opportunity, or maybe just to eat somewhere on the weekends, you can take the public transit line from UND's campus all the way right into the middle of downtown, which gives you great access to lots of different opportunities. So there's lots of different things about that we want you to take as students, both professionally, and also it's just a place to live. Last thing I'm going to mention before we kind of into the specifics of financial aid in the application process is community service. I mentioned a moment ago that we have community service organizations at the University of Indiana. And this just kind of shows how important community service is. Education for service is the motto at UND. We really love the neighborhood where we live and really want to give back to it and make sure that it's a wonderful place, not just for our students to live, but the community members as well. So we encourage students, faculty, and staff to get with community service. And as you can see, there's over 215,000 hours of community service to go. So We care about our community and we want to give back to it, and we want you to be a part of the community as well. Okay, so I'm going to get into the specifics of the financial aid and application processes as well now. So you can see one number on the screen, that $41,860 is kind of the sticker price that I would say for you, Indy. That includes tuition, which is about $30,000, room and board, which I would say is about $10,500 to live on campus and have a meal plan. And then with some additional fees and et cetera that we tack on, that's right around the sticker price. You can also see on the screen that there are a lot of subtractions that we take off of that sticker price. Merit scholarships, so how well you did in high school and your high school GPA can make you eligible for merit scholarships that you can take that cost of tuition down a little bit. Federal and state aid, which you get through the FAFSA, as well as a number of other scholarships that I'm going to talk about in a minute. But we know that affordability is really important to students and families. And we know that our sticker price may be a little higher than some of the state schools, but we have a lot to offer, and we really care about being affordable, and we'll do everything we can to make sure that UIndy is an affordable option for you. A couple notes on UIndy specific financial aid. About 10% of our students receive some kind of financial aid, so taking that $41,000 down as much as we can. You have a number of different scholarships available to you. I mentioned merit scholarships based on your high school GPA. We have a number of different departmental scholarships available as well. I'm thinking specifically of the business school, the education school. We have a nursing scholarship, a chemistry scholarship, and a number of engineering scholarships as well, just to name a few. There are so many others that I didn't even get to. We have a number of need-based tuition, need tuition scholarships. That includes working with 21st century scholars, if that applies to you, as well as some transfer student scholarships and specialty scholarships. So just lots of ways to save money. And as I always say, free money is one of our favorite things. You can see on the right-hand side that our average need-based package is right around $27,000. So if you are a student in need of financial aid assistance, we're there to help you out. We just have lots of different ways to offer financial aid to you. So if you need a little bit of help with that, then we are here to help you out. You've maybe heard your guidance counselors talking about the FAFSA. I know I talk about the FAFSA a lot in my day-to-day. It is something that makes you, so essentially the FAFSA is a form that you fill out with the government. It takes your tax returns and it spits out a number called the EFC, which is your expected family contribution, or how much your family can you to go to college according to the federal government. So once you fill out the FAFSA, that makes you potentially eligible for additional state and federal aid. So trying to get as much free money as you can. The FAFSA is actually open to apply for right now. It opened on October 1st and it is due on April 15th. You can see at the bottom of the screen there, UIndy's FAFSA code. You need to input that when you fill FAFSA so that we can get your FAFSA results back and help create that final financial aid package. The other financial aid application I will note is that there is an additional financial aid application for University of Indianapolis called the U, which is something that you have to fill out for University of Indianapolis. It takes literally 5 minutes, so very low stress and some of the other applications you have to fill out. But it is the final pieces of information we need to get you that final financial aid package. Okay, last thing I want to mention to you. So if you're interested in what you've heard today, if you're interested in learning more about the University of Indianapolis or coming here next fall, we would love to hear from you and we would love to take your application. So a few steps about the application process. Our application is complete and there is no essay involved. So at the website down here at the bottom of the screen, it takes on average about 30 minutes to complete. It may be more, maybe less, just depending on who you we're also available on the Common app. So if you're applying to, I would say maybe 3 or more schools, that can save you a little bit of time by just filling out one application and then checking boxes for different universities that are available to you. So there's a couple different ways to apply. It just kind of depends on what you're interested in and how many schools you're applying for. We do need an official copy of your high school transcripts in order to process your application. once you, or sometimes even before you apply, you need to contact your guidance office, send your high school transcript to the University of Indianapolis, either via the Postal Service in the mail, or you can also send them via Parchment, which is our online transcript management system. Either are good with us. The last thing I'll mention in terms of the application is that SAT and ACT scores are not necessary. You've probably heard of a number of other schools going test optional this year. UIndy is a part of that as well. So if you have taken the SAT or ACT, or you have a test scheduled in the next couple months, you're welcome to send those scores to us. They can only help you. We're not going to penalize for scores that you send us. So again, you do not have to send us your test scores if you do not want to, but also we will accept them if you have them to send. Okay, that is about all I had to share with you in terms of our presentation. If you have additional questions, I would be happy to answer them. And I think we can have some additional facts to share with you here in a little bit. Again, there's a QR code there in the top of the screen. If you scan that, it can give you access to a form that is going to give you an opportunity to get some more information about University of Indianapolis, get on our mailing list so that you know about any application or scholarship or just program opportunities that could help you make this college decision. I really appreciate all of you spending time this evening. It's great to hear from you all, and I hope that you consider University of Indianapolis in your college admissions process. I know this is, first of all, a really stressful time to be applying to college, but the University of Indianapolis is here for you for any questions you have about the process generally, and we just want to make sure. And I believe we have time for questions now. Megan, is there anything I can think of that didn't share, or questions that maybe students have that we could answer?
I think you did an excellent job kind of giving everyone a general overview about the process, high level information about the university. The admissions process is fairly simple for the most part. I think it roughly takes maybe 20 minutes to complete our application online, and it is free. And I'm sure I know Emily mentioned that. So it's really just a matter of investing that 20 minutes to go through the process. Of course, there's the Common App, but as we know, that can be a little more tedious because every school requires different information. But nonetheless, we are listed on the Common App. So however you choose to submit your application, whether it's directly from our website or through Common App, that's all we need in addition to your transcript. So again, I know that Emily mentioned this can be a very overwhelming time, especially considering the nature of the country right now. So try to visit as many schools that are offering in-person visits. Try to do virtual tours if you're able to do that and unable to attend a campus visit in person. It's really imperative for you and your future that you're making the best financial decision, but also your time. You're going to be committing 4+ years of your time, depending on your career path, and you want to make sure it's the right choice. And it's hard to gauge without stepping foot on a campus. So whatever you can do, go and visit small, mid, large scale schools. That way you have no regrets that you left anything on the table, because you may be surprised that a larger school might be a better fit than what you had initially anticipated. So just go and visit as many schools as possible. That's one thing I always try to stress with the students that I meet with. Just broaden your horizons and visit.
Yeah. And we are open for campus visits right now, both in person and virtual. And we also have a number of virtual events that are happening outside of kind of the traditional campus visit process. I know we've been having a lot of preview days for different majors and major groups the past couple of weeks. And I believe last week we had a first generation college session as well for students who are first gen and applying to college. So again, filling out that QR or getting that the form on the QR code, filling that out with your interests will help us figure out what opportunities are best fit for you and give you access to sign up for those, or access to your admissions counselor a little bit more broadly. But we would love to see you on campus. I think, like Megan said, it is the best way to get to know a university. There's just something about that feeling that you get that either feels right or maybe not so right. And there's just nothing that can compare to being on a campus like that.
And who knows, you might happen to run into Grady. He's all over campus and is always willing to give some pup love. So that is, if anything, that is a solid reason to come and visit.
Yeah, absolutely. Nope, everybody loves dog love. Something else that I think I get a lot of questions about from students is what the food is like at UIndy, because you're going to be living there for 4 years. You want to know what you're going to be eating as well. There's lots of different things to eat at University of Indianapolis, and a couple different meal plan options as well. So there's one main on-campus cafeteria, as well as some other smaller restaurants to eat at. I know we have a burgers and fries place. We have a sub shop for just deli sandwiches. We also have a burrito place, as well as I'm going to grab a banana and a juice and go in the morning. So just like a quick shop. 3 different on-campus coffee shops, and lots of people get either very excited or very nervous. We do have a sushi bar on campus. Some people love, don't, I'm kind of in the middle. So that is in our health pavilion, which is one of our newer buildings on campus. I believe it was built within the last 5 years or so. So if you come to campus, they will definitely show you the sushi bar. It's something we like to show off, both because I think sushi is rather a unique thing to eat at a university, and the health pavilion is a really beautiful building that we're really proud of as well, because as we are proud of all of the students we have at UIndy, but the health sciences is something that we do really, really well.
Yes, I will also mention that 2 of the 3 perk coffee shops do serve Starbucks coffee, which is always a big hit for our students too. So that's something that a lot of prospective students seem to get excited about. Emily mentioned our housing and kind of threw out some different LLCs, which are the living learning communities. So those are opportunities for students who may be pursuing a certain discipline, maybe a student of color, maybe they were admitted distinctly and then therefore were invited to join our honors college. Those are just opportunities for students to build their social network, build support group, and really have others to lean on throughout this transition, first and foremost, because as an incoming freshman, it is a big adjustment. It's a completely different new learning environment, and it can be very easy to get overwhelmed very quickly. So just kind of having that sense of community within your LLC is really helpful for a lot of students, because they have others that are in that same boat, but they're also going to be in similar classes. So they're going to understand the different coursework and content that you're learning, and really kind of rely on one another as well. So those LLCs are fairly new, with the exception of like honors and our nursing LLC, but they have really provided some good positive feedback from the students that are currently there. And it's just a good opportunity for anyone who has an interest to participate in that, at least for the first year, and really get a sense of what resources are available and what knowledge you may be able to obtain during that short period, and determine if it's still a fit for you as you continue to live on campus perhaps. But the LLCs are a really good fit for a lot of students.
Something else that I like to mention about UIndy, because we are a D2 athletic school, we have a ton of athletic opportunities. First off, if you're interested in being an athlete at UIndy, we have lots of different teams, 23, I believe, to be exact. Football, basketball, volleyball, soccer, track and cross country, lacrosse is a popular sport, swimming and diving, the list goes on from there. But if you're interested in being an athlete, there is a prospective student athlete form that you can fill out. Either you can access that on the UIndy Athletics website, or you can email me. I know I had my information up a little bit earlier, and I can send you the form. That's kind of the best way to get on the coach's radar. If you're just kind of thinking about whether or not you want to do athletics, you can fill out that form. It gives just kind of your basic information, as well as some statistics for whatever sport you're interested in playing. And then the coach can contact you from there. So if you're interested in athletics, it's to start. If you're not an athlete, watching sports like myself, you actually get to go. Students are allowed to all UIndy activities, so free admission for all UIndy students. So if you me, went to a high school that has a lot of football, and you want to keep watching football, then you get to do that at UND as well. Other thing I like to mention is we do have an on-campus gym facility available to all students. There are some areas that are for our athletes, and then there are some areas that are for all of our students as well. So again, if you're not an athlete but are interested in staying in shape or maybe having some fitness, we do have lots of opportunities for that here at UND.
Yes, and the swimming pool is a part of that. As long as it doesn't interfere with swimming and diving meets or practices, students can utilize the pool as they see fit. I know Emily mentioned earlier that freshmen can have vehicles on campus, which is fantastic because in most schools, freshmen are not allowed to bring cars on campus, at least the larger state schools. Parking is free, but there's also a shuttle bus that operates Thursday through Saturday at UND that's exclusive for UND students. It's a free and safe form of transportation. Currently, due to COVID, it's not operating right now, but typically in a traditional year, again, it runs Thursday through Saturday from about 6 o'clock in the evening till about 2 o'clock in the morning. But there's a stop at downtown Indy, which is about 10 minutes west of campus, and then a little further south to the Greenwood area, which is probably the closest suburb to campus. So that is just another way to get out and about, especially if you're unfamiliar with the area, or maybe you want to go down to an event at in downtown Indy and you don't want to pay $30 to park, because I don't know what college student has $30 to park. So it's just nice having that be another transportation option for students. And again, it's free and safe, and that's the most important as well. So
yeah. Another question I get from a lot of incoming students at UND is about dual and AP credits. A lot of students who come to us have either AP credits or dual credits from various classes and programs they participated in when they were in high school. So what happens with dual credit at UND is a lot of different things, really. How dual credits transfer just kind of depends on the major that you choose to be a part of, as well as like the specific professors that are within that major. An example that I give is maybe if you decide to be a math major and our math department knows that taking Calc 1 at UND, regardless of any experience you've had with calculus in the past, is going to prepare you best for the rest of the math curriculum that you'll have there. So they may want you to retake a calculus class that you've taken before. Essentially, what'll happen is when we get your 8th semester transcripts at the end of next year, next summer, the registrar's office will perform what we call a transcript evaluation, where essentially they will take a look at any dual credits and any AP credits that you have, and they'll help figure out how those may transfer to your degree and the program that you've chosen. So if you have more specific questions about dual, reach out to one of our admissions counselors and they can help you get a more specific answer. But it's hard to give you an exact way that those credits will transfer until we have your final transcripts at the end of next year. So again, feel free to reach out with questions, but that is a question that I get from a lot of students because a lot of students come in with those additional credits that they've worked so hard on in high school.
Yes, another question that kind of goes along with that, because some students will complete dual credit in a language, a foreign language. And so the question is posed, does UND offer or require a foreign language? And that the answer is yes. It is a part of our general education curriculum. However, if you have an AP or a dual credit that you receive the appropriate grade or score, then of course that's going to transfer over and fulfill that requirement. But if you do not, that's okay. There is a placement exam that students have an opportunity to take prior to summer registration. We offer one in math, one in a foreign language, or we consider it a modern language at UND, and then potentially an English assessment. And so these ultimately kind of gauge your competency. For math, it's going to determine what level of math you as the student test into based upon your academic major. For foreign language, it will determine, is there a need for continued education in this particular language? We offer French, German, and Spanish. Some students may test out. Some may just need 1 semester versus 2 semesters of that language. Maybe they were like me and didn't retain anything of French in 4 years and just decided to pursue something different. And that's what I did. I just opted to pursue Spanish. And I feel like I retained a lot more in a year of Spanish than I did my 4 years of French. And then for the English, that is more of a self-directed placement that will really just kind of determine, do you need English composition right away, or if there's like more of an entry level English that you need to pursue before you actually jump into your English comp. So those assessments are something that the university will send to students who are deposited prior to registration. They are online assessments, they are free, so there is no fee. It's just a matter of making sure that when you are connecting with your academic advisor, they have a good understanding of where you are currently within those 3 categories and how to best schedule you when that time comes as well. I'm trying to think. I feel like you've covered quite a bit of questions that students typically ask. One thing that I think that is posed by a lot of parents is about safety of campus because we are right on the outskirts of downtown Indy. Some of the area around the perimeter of campus is a little distressed as well. And so that's a part of our strategic vision, is continuing to build up the surrounding community to make it a little bit more appealing and attractive to those outside of the University Heights area, which is ultimately where we're located. But we do have our own police officers that the university employs. There are 9 full-time and 12 part-time officers that are always patrolling the campus and the surrounding perimeter. Call boxes everywhere, just like a typical college campus would offer. We do have a security escort system in place, which is a unique service. And that's really there just to reassure the student. I mean, outside of if you just don't feel safe walking back to your car or to your hall, they will come and escort you, but maybe you lock your keys in your car, or your battery died and you left because you left the lights on. They'll jump your car. So those are just some other examples of where that service can come into play. And in addition, we have a watchdog alert notification system. So as a student, you would automatically be registered for text and email alerts, but you could always add family members or whomever else to get these alerts in the event that there was something like a lockdown that happened, or if we close due to inclement weather, or if we have something happening up to like a 10-mile radius of campus. That's another way that we communicate these things to the students and the families of our students. So that's one thing that I feel a lot of parents tend to ask, because it's a valid question. If it's not very safe in a lot of places these days, and so you just want to make sure that your sweet children are safe, and the students, of course, feel safe too. And again, I feel like as students come to campus, they really get that reassurance that it is such a really tight-knit community. Everyone looks out for everyone. And that's really the biggest selling point with UIndy personally, but I'm also biased because I was a student there. But it definitely is a special place for sure.
But I mean, even, you know, myself, who's relatively new to UIndy, I did just start over the summer. So it's been, I think, almost 6 months now, which is hard to believe. But I would say from the very first day that I got on campus, I felt so much warmth and welcome from everyone there. And I think that goes for staff and students as well. It's just a really happy place to be. And I know that sounds cheesy, but I do think that it's true. You feel how much people care about each other. I'd say everywhere that you go in University of Indianapolis. And I think that applies to how we reacted to the pandemic as well. People are wearing their masks, and people are just doing a really good job of keeping each other safe, which I think really, really matters to what Megan was saying earlier about campus safety. We care about each other, and we care about the community, and keeping each other safe in a multitude of different ways, including, you know, with the way the world has turned, we do have to think about each other's health a little bit more than we have in the past. And I do think that that has been something that has been very evident at UIndy, both from when the pandemic started back in, you know, March, and all the way up until now in October. So we keep each other safe. I believe we're coming up on time here. So I just want to thank you all again for spending this time with us, thinking about University of Indianapolis. We would love to see your applications come through our inboxes or even answer any follow-up questions that you have from tonight. It's important that you have all of the information that you possibly can when you're making this decision, and we want to help you in whatever way that we can.
Yes, obviously we are representatives of UIndy, but most importantly, we are our students' resource and their advocate. So let us know what we can do to help you along this path and this journey as you continue your college searching. If it's regarding UIndy, fantastic. If it's not, that's okay too. Again, we understand not every school is going to be a fit for everyone. So please just let us know what we can do to alleviate some of the stress and anxiety that is natural when it comes to this experience. And we would love for you all to join our pack.
Thank you, Emily and Megan from the University of Indianapolis. Thank you for sharing that with us. I just have a little bit more housekeeping notes for everyone. After you close this window, can you please take a very quick 4-question survey? Believe it or not, we have more really great opportunities of sessions from colleges right here on our website at inacac.org. And this session is recorded, and it will be on all InACAC sites 1 week from today. Emily, Megan, once again, thank you so much for sharing with us about the University of Indianapolis, and everyone else, please have a good night. Okay, bye guys.
Bye. Good job, Emily.